Hello, everyone. My name is Josh Wheelock, and I'm here to talk to you about the benefits of being a student athlete. I'd like to open with some statistics. Across the United States, there are about 8 million high school athletes, and there are millions more at the levels below that. Out of these millions of athletes, only about 6% of them go on to play at the collegiate level, with only about 2% of them receiving scholarships to play at the Division I level. Looking beyond the collegiate level to the professional level, less than 1% of these athletes will go on to play professionally. Put that into perspective, out of an average pool of 10,000 high school basketball players, one of them will go on to play professionally. So with such low percentages of success, why push students to play sports? Why add to the already busy life that they have? To answer that, we have to redefine what success as a student athlete really is. When you think of high school sports, the first thing you think about are probably playoff games, highlight plays, cheering fans, and school spirit. While these are a major part of what make up high school sports, they're merely the surface level of what they actually are. What sports really are happened way before the games even start. It's the countless hours that the athletes spend leading up to these moments. There's a lot more than just showing up for the game. Being a student athlete, if engaged in properly, can have major positive benefits across many aspects of a student's life. The first, and probably one of the most obvious benefits, is the physical benefits. Playing sports gets kids to exercise at a very young age can help them not only to promote their own physical fitness, but to develop their motor skills as well. These are skills that continue to improve the longer they play. Doing things like throwing, running, and catching help develop motor skills and physical fitness at the same time. Some other physical benefits are improved cardiovascular health and physical strength. Things that, again, start at the young age and continue as students continue to play sports. Not only will they see these benefits, but they will also be introduced to healthy practices that can help lead to a lifelong improvement of their own health. No matter what sport they play, their overall physical fitness will benefit. Another area that is known to benefit is the academic life of student athletes. While this may seem contradictory at first, when you think about adding practices and games to the already busy schedule of a student, filled with school, homework, and everything that comes with home life. There are actually many positive benefits of engaging in being a student athlete. I'd like to emphasize that student athletes are students first and athletes second. Because of this, attendance at school and getting good grades are requirements for participation. This often leads to student athletes bolstering better attendance and better grades than non-student athletes. With the added time of practices and games, it also forces students to develop better time management skills and work ethic. Juggling practice and games with, as I said, a busy day of school, homework, and home life requires students to plan and prioritize and work harder in order to achieve success across the board. There are also some maybe unintended positive benefits as well. At the school where I work, student athletes who may not be the strongest students receive tutoring from their teammates to help them stay on top of their grades and be able to participate. This is the academic support system that they might not have access to if they didn't play sports. There are also many incentives to doing well as a student athlete. Excelling in your sport and academics simultaneously can lead to many awards and even scholarships. In New Hampshire, they have New Hampshire Scholar Athletes, which gives recognition and awards to students who play multiple high school sports and do excel in their grades. As I mentioned, scholarships are also a big thing. Even if they're not athletic scholarships, being a scholar athlete can often open doors to other scholarships. Both of these serve as great incentives for students to do well in both their sport and their academics, often leading to improvements in both. I mentioned before the development of time management skills and work ethic. These are not the only life skills that students will develop while participating in sports. Sports are hard, and being good at a sport is even harder. By doing something hard consistently, many other things will appear to be easier. In order to get better at your sport, an athlete needs some level of self-confidence in order to push themselves to get better. While getting better, they also must develop self-discipline and perseverance in order to continue to get better and succeed. Another skill that is seen across a lot of sports is the ability to work with others. While there are exceptions for single athlete sports, things like golf and tennis, the majority of sports that are participated in are team sports, things like basketball, baseball, soccer, and football. Participation in these sports require you to work as a whole collective, work as a team. Student athletes not only have to know their own strengths and weaknesses, but those of their teammates as well in order to succeed. All of these skills are things that go beyond being an athlete or a student. They're things that student athletes can use after they graduate in the real world, things that will last with them for a lifetime. I don't wish to downplay the other areas of benefit that I have talked about. Being physically healthy, benefiting academically, and developing life skills are all things that any student would be great for them to learn. But this last one is one that I personally feel is far more important than the others. The connections people make can make a huge difference in their lives. In school, these are your friends or a teacher who makes you feel that you are important. In sports, these connections and relationships are amplified. Those friends are your teammates, and that teacher is your coach. Being part of a good team is almost akin to being part of a family. I would almost guarantee you that if you asked any former student athlete, they could give you a dozen or more fond memories of their time playing sports, or name any number of their teammates from the teams that they played on. As I said, being part of a team, being part of a good team is akin to being a family. And for many student athletes, their sport is all they have. And this connection can make a huge difference in their lives. Same goes for coaches. A good coach, like a good teacher, will push the student or the athlete to be better, not in an overbearing or selfish way, but in a way that wants them to reach their potential. I still remember what my high school basketball coach told me at the end of my senior season. It's the same thing that he says to all of the seniors. Thank you for all your hard work. If you ever need anything, know where I live, you know how to get a hold of me. Those few sentences still resonate with me all these years later because I know they are true. If I were to call my high school basketball coach right now, needing advice, asking to use him as a job reference, or any number of other things, I'm almost positive he would answer the phone. While it takes a special person to make these connections, that can be life-changing for students who only have their sport and don't have similar support systems outside of it. And while as I said, it takes a special connection, the successes far outnumber the failures. Not every coach is going to be the best coach, but the ones that do stick around. Not every high school athlete is going to be a star athlete. Many may never even play in it. But the benefits that they see can impact many aspects of their lives. They benefit physically, academically, and socially. And these are benefits not for the 1% of professional athletes, but for the millions that participate across the country. Thank you.